Do you ever feel that constant hum of anxiety, like a low background noise you can't turn off? It greets you in the morning before your feet even touch the floor. It shows up when that unexpected email arrives, twisting your stomach. At night, it replays a conversation from 5 years ago or invents a problem for 5 years from now. This isn't the kind of worry that motivates. This is the kind that paralyzes. The endless scroll of bad news, the pressure to keep up, the fear that one wrong step could make it all collapse. You are not alone in this, not even close. But what if you could turn the volume down? What if you could step out of that whirlwind of what-ifs into a place of calm, clear-headed action? This isn't about eliminating concern altogether. That's impossible. This is about transforming chaotic worry into focused energy. It's about knowing the difference between productive concern and pointless panic. It's about living in the driver's seat where anxiety no longer drives you. The first step to quieting the noise is drawing a line in your mind, a permanent barrier between what you can influence and what you cannot. For most of us, that line is blurred or even missing. We pour energy into politics, markets, strangers' opinions, the past, the future, things far beyond our reach. And by trying to control the uncontrollable, we lose the sense that we control anything at all. This is the engine of modern worry. Information comes at us from 1,000 sources, each demanding urgency. Your brain wasn't built for this. It was designed for local, immediate problems, food, shelter, survival. So when you try to carry the weight of the world each morning, of course you feel crushed. The solution is not to try harder. The solution is to get honest about your sphere of influence. Inside this circle are things your actions directly touch, how you prepare for work, the tone of voice you use with your kids, choosing a healthy lunch, setting a boundary with a coworker, taking a walk instead of scrolling. This circle is smaller than you think, and that's its power. Inside it, you hold absolute authority. Outside of it lives everything else: the weather, the national economy, someone else's mood, the past, the final outcome of an uncertain meeting. You can care about these things, but you can't control them. Trying to is like pushing the ocean back with a broom. So ask the question, is this within my control? If yes, take action. Action kills worry. If no, release it. Free your energy for what you can change. Meet Maria, a nurse in Tampa, Florida. Her life is a rhythm of rotating shifts, days, nights, weekends, playing havoc with her sleep. Worry is her constant companion. She worries about patients after her shift ends. She replays a comment she made to an intern. She lies in bed mid-morning, curtains drawn, worried she'll never feel normal again. Her worry is a heavy blanket, smothering what little rest she gets. One morning, exhausted, she sat at her kitchen table and opened her laptop. Instead of scrolling, she drew a circle on a blank page. At the top she wrote, "My control." Then she listed, "My reaction to a difficult patient, preparing snacks, setting do not disturb, texting a friend, taking 5 deep breaths." It was a short list. She drew a larger circle around it, "Not my control." Into that she poured it all: hospital staffing shortages, national debates, patients' choices after leaving, the intern's mood, the past, the system, the night schedule. Seeing it shocked her. She realized she'd been trying to water the entire cloud with a can meant for her own little garden. She made a new rule: is this mine? Patient's outcome after she clocked out, not hers. Her reaction to rude family members, hers. The broken system, not hers, but her vote, her voice, her mentoring, hers. The change wasn't magic, but it was profound. The weight didn't disappear, but it became manageable. She started sleeping better. She became more present with patients. She reclaimed her circle of control, and with it, her peace. This practice is not just a philosophy to admire. It's a muscle to build. Start small. The next time you feel that knot of anxiety, pause. Ask, what part of this, if any, can I actually control? Your mind will try to trick you into believing that worry itself is doing something. But worry is not action. It is wasted energy. If the problem is in your circle, act immediately. Can't control the stock market, but you can put $50 into savings today. Can't control your teenager's mood, but you can offer a hug or a listening ear. Action is the kryptonite of worry. For the parts outside your circle, practice conscious release. Say it out loud if you must. This is not mine. I release it. Picture it floating away. Your job is to tend your garden, not water every plot in the neighborhood. The next principle is about time, not space. Building day-tight compartments keeps yesterday's leaks from flooding today and tomorrow's storms from sinking your ship before they arrive. Most of our pain doesn't come from events themselves. It comes from the relentless time travel of our minds. We drag yesterday's failures into today. We rehearse tomorrow's disasters before they exist. Imagine your life as a ship. The ship is divided into watertight compartments. If one floods, the others remain sealed. Yesterday's argument, contain it. Next week's meeting, seal it until it's time. Living in day-tight compartments doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means distinguishing planning from worrying. Planning is today's activity for a future event. Worrying is surrendering today's peace to a storm that hasn't arrived. Jake was a recent graduate in Austin, Texas. He'd landed his first analyst job, but instead of excitement, he felt dread. At night, he stared at glowing loan statements projecting years of debt. At work, he feared one small mistake would spiral into losing his job, defaulting, and moving back home in shame. His anxiety about the future made him clumsy in the present, nearly proving his own fears. The breaking point came in a meeting when his manager asked for an update. His mind went blank. He'd been so busy imagining disaster 3 weeks ahead that he'd neglected today's tasks. A senior colleague, Linda, pulled him aside afterward. She said, "You seem like you're solving next year's problems at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday." She showed him her daily calendar, 1 page, 1 day, nothing more. She said, "My only job is to sail today's ship. Tomorrow's storms wait for tomorrow. If a worry belongs to the 15th, it lives on the 15th, not today." Skeptical but desperate, Jake bought his own wall calendar. That night, he transferred every swirling worry to its rightful date. Student loan due on the 15th. Performance review in 6 months. Rent due next week. He limited his next day to 3 tasks. Finish data analysis, go to the gym, call his mom. The noise in his head softened. He could finally sleep. The next morning, he woke lighter. He wasn't ignoring his problems. He was giving each one its proper time. His ship stopped sinking because he sealed his compartments. You can do the same. Each morning, ask, "What ship am I sailing today?" Write down 3 important tasks. Not for the week, not for life, for today. When future worries arise, don't entertain them. Make a note, "I'll handle this Thursday." By the time Thursday comes, most storms will have weakened or passed entirely. This is how mountains shrink into steps. You don't need to solve your finances in the morning. You just need to make one wise money choice today. You don't need to fix your whole relationship. You just need to be kind in one conversation. This is how life is rebuilt, one present day at a time. Indecision is one of the biggest factories of worry. Every unmade choice hums in the background, draining your focus. You weigh and reweigh possibilities, terrified of choosing wrong. And while you hesitate, worry multiplies. Life is not a puzzle with one perfect solution. It's a path you choose, walk, and adjust along the way. The goal is not a flawless decision every time. The goal is to choose well enough, soon enough, and then commit. A good decision today beats a perfect one made too late. Action itself erases the fog. The moment you commit, much of the anxiety vanishes. Here's the mindset shift. You rarely need 100% certainty. If you have about 70% of the information and you've thought reasonably, it's time to decide. Your gut is not magic. It's your subconscious processing faster than your conscious mind. Learn to listen to it. Then set limits. Decide dinner in 60 seconds. Choose your outfit in 2 minutes. Pick a movie in 5. For bigger choices, schedule a decision meeting with yourself. List pros and cons. Sleep on it once. Decide the next morning. Do not let decisions drag out for weeks. They gain power as they linger. Think like a pilot. A flight plan is set, but constant adjustments follow. Winds shift, weather changes, course corrections happen. Your decisions work the same way. You don't need permanent perfection. You need movement and adjustment. Very few decisions are final. You can change jobs. You can move again. You can start over. The decision is not the end. It's the beginning. Chloe owned a small ceramic studio in Portland. Her old kiln limited her growth, but the new one was expensive. For months she researched, ran spreadsheets, asked opinions. Nights were restless, filled with scenarios of success or bankruptcy. Her indecision slowed everything, even small choices like which glaze to order. Then a competitor installed the kiln she'd been eyeing. Regret crashed over her. She realized indecision had already cost her. She called a mentor, confessing her paralysis. He told her, "You're trying to be right forever. You just need to be right now." He gave her a framework. What's the worst case? Can you survive it? If yes, decide. He also gave her a deadline, Friday. Make the call. No looking back. Friday came. With a knot in her stomach, Chloe clicked order. In that instant, the anxiety that had shadowed her for months disappeared. Excitement replaced it. Now her brain shifted to action, rearranging her studio, planning marketing, creating new projects. We often think of worry as only a mental problem, a ghost floating in the mind. But worry is also physical. It is a full-body event, a biochemical storm. When you worry, your brain cannot tell the difference between a real tiger and a metaphorical one. A nasty email, a financial fear, a social anxiety. All of them light up the same ancient alarm system. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your body. Your heart rate rises. Your muscles tighten. Your digestion slows. Your breath shortens. Your body is preparing for a life or death struggle, but you are just sitting at your desk. This is the cruel irony of modern worry. Our bodies are bombarded daily with false alarms. We live in a low-grade state of fight or flight, and it damages our health. Chronic stress eats away at the immune system. It disrupts sleep, digestion, and mood. It leaves behind tension, headaches, burnout, and fatigue. The mind writes a check that the body is forced to cash. You cannot simply think your way out of this. Telling yourself calm down while flooded with stress hormones is like whispering to a fire. You must calm the body to quiet the mind. The feedback loop runs both ways. If an anxious mind tenses the body, then a relaxed body can quiet the mind. This is your most immediate tool, your breath. Breathing is the remote control for your nervous system. Shallow, rapid chest breathing tells your body, danger. Slow, deep belly breathing says you are safe. Try this. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. The longer exhale signals your parasympathetic system, the rest and digest mode. With each breath, your body steps away from the edge. Movement is the next tool. Worry is trapped energy with nowhere to go. Your body is bracing to run or fight, but you remain still. Give your body what it expects. Walk for 5 minutes. Do a set of push-ups. Stretch your shoulders and neck. These simple acts burn off the chemicals of stress. The final tool is sensory grounding. Worry drags you into the abstract world of imagination. Your senses return you to reality. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 drill. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. In that moment, your brain leaves the worry channel and tunes into the real world. It is a hard reset for the system. David, a retired veteran in San Antonio, lived in a state of constant alarm. A slammed car door sent his pulse racing. A crowded store felt like a battlefield. He tried to talk himself calm, but it never worked. His body carried the memory of war. Doctors called it PTSD. To David, it just felt like being broken, like his alarm switch was stuck on. A new therapist at the VA gave him a different approach. She said, "We start with the body, not the thoughts." She called it bottom-up regulation. She taught him tactical breathing, 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. She told him to practice while calm, building muscle memory. She gave him an anchor, feet flat on the ground, solid and steady. The first test came at the DMV. The line was long. The room was hot. A baby was crying. David felt panic rising. Old David would have left or suffered in silence. New David looked at his boots on the floor. He began the breath. In for 4 hold, out for 6. Again and again. He focused only on the air and his grounded feet. The panic didn't vanish, but it stopped growing. It peaked and then receded, like a wave hitting a seawall. The wall was his breath and his grounding. He stayed. He finished his errand. For the first time, he left not drained but victorious. He used this everywhere, before family gatherings, while watching the news, whenever alarms flared. Slowly, his nervous system learned a new rhythm. Worries remained, but their power over his body weakened. He found the key to his alarm system. Your body is not just along for the ride. It is the vehicle itself, and you are the driver. When the check engine light of anxiety flashes, Don't just cover it with positive thoughts. Pop the hood. Start with your breath. Right now, as you listen, take one deep breath. In through your nose. Let your belly expand. Out through your mouth. Slow and steady. Feel the difference? That's control returning. Add micro movements into your day. Set a timer to stretch once an hour. Drop and do 10 push-ups when worry spikes. Take a short walk outside. Change your physical state, and your mind will follow. Practice the 5-4-3-2-1 drill before you need it. Train yourself to notice. 5 things to see, 4 to feel, 3 to hear, 2 to smell, 1 to taste. Let your senses anchor you. A calm body becomes the foundation of a calm mind. But worry isn't only physical. It also comes from distorted thinking. Thoughts become stories, and stories become traps. We catastrophize, imagining the worst. We overgeneralize. One bad event means everything is bad. We think in absolute, success or failure, nothing between. We mind read, assuming others judge us harshly. These thoughts feel true, but often they're fictions. The antidote is evidence. Become a detective of your own mind. This practice is called cognitive reframing. You take the thought, question it, and replace it with balance. You don't deny the fear. You challenge it with facts. Step 1, write the thought. Be precise. Tomorrow's presentation will be a disaster. Step 2, name the feeling. I feel dread, shame, fear. Step 3, cross-examine the thought. What is the evidence for it? I'm nervous. I stumbled once. What is the evidence against it? I'm prepared. I've done well before. One stumble isn't fatal. Step 4, reframe it. I am prepared. My nerves are normal. I can handle mistakes. This is not blind optimism. It is balanced realism. By writing it down, you drag the thought from the dark basement into the light. Anya, a second-grade teacher in Brooklyn, was drowning in anxious thoughts. At night, she told herself, I wasn't patient enough today. I'm damaging my students. The science lesson was a mess. The principal must think I'm incompetent. Other teachers have it together. I'm a fraud. A colleague gave her a tool called thought records. One Sunday she wrote, I am a terrible teacher. It felt true. She investigated. Evidence for, a parent once complained, she sometimes lost patience. Evidence against. Test scores were strong. Her students smiled. Her principal praised her. Parents wrote thank you notes. The more balanced thought, I am dedicated. I'm imperfect, but far from a failure. What would she tell a friend? You're one of the most caring teachers I know. She rewrote the thought, I am a committed teacher who makes mistakes but also makes a difference. The fear didn't vanish, but the volume dropped. She repeated the practice nightly. Soon she spotted patterns. She always ignored positives and magnified negatives. With awareness, she could stop mid-thought and ask, is this true? Where's the evidence? Slowly she replaced fear with facts. Your mind is a storyteller, and sometimes it tells horror stories. Your job is to be the editor. Don't accept the first draft. Challenge it. The next time a negative thought clings to you, investigate. Write it down. Demand evidence. You will often find the case for worry is weak. The facts are usually on your side. Make this a daily habit. Keep a worry journal. Each night, record anxious thoughts. Reframe them with balance. Over time, the voice of reason grows stronger than the voice of fear. But not all worry comes from thoughts or the body. A huge share comes from relationships. We worry about what people think. We fear letting them down. We say yes when we want to say no. We carry their stress as our own. This is social worry, and its cure is boundaries. A boundary is not a wall. It is a property line. It defines what belongs to you and what does not. You are responsible for your own actions and well-being. You are not responsible for another adult's mood or choices. Respecting that difference is freedom. Without boundaries, you become a sponge. Your co-worker's anger becomes your anxiety. Your mother's disappointment becomes your shame. Your friend's crisis becomes your emergency. Boundaries break that pattern. They sound like this. I'd love to help, but I can't right now. I can't talk while we're yelling. Let's pause and return. Thanks for the invite, but I need rest this weekend. That doesn't work for me. The first boundary feels terrifying. You expect anger or rejection, but most people respect clarity. And those who don't, they show you the health of the relationship. Boundaries must also extend to technology. Notifications are constant demands from other people. Turn off the non-essential. Schedule email time instead of living in your inbox. Curate your feed, unfollow what drains you. Protecting your peace is not selfish. You cannot pour from an empty cup. By protecting yourself, you show up stronger for others. Sarah, a single mom in Ohio, was drowning in obligations. Her phone buzzed with requests: help her parents, cover shifts, favors from friends. She said yes to all of it, and she said no to herself. One weekend, she promised her son a trip to the zoo, but she gave away her only day off to cover a coworker's shift. Her son sat at home while she drove deliveries, exhausted and bitter. That night she realized every unwanted yes was a no to her son and to herself. The next time her mother asked for tech help, Sarah said, "I can't today, I can Thursday." Silence followed, then her mother fixed it herself. A friend asked for a last-minute favor. Sarah replied, "I can't this week." The friend said, "No problem." The catastrophe she feared never came. Her biggest test was her brother. She told him, "I'm overwhelmed. We must share care for Mom and Dad." He resisted at first, but Sarah held her ground. They reached an agreement. With each boundary, her worry shrank. She set phone-free hours at night. She scheduled rest without apology. She was saying no more often, but her yes carried new power. Boundaries turned her life from chaos into curation. Her relationships became lighter. Her son received her full presence. Her peace returned. Ask yourself, where do I feel drained after an interaction? That is a flashing sign, a missing boundary. Choose one relationship or habit this week. Set a limit. State it kindly, but firmly. The discomfort will pass, but the peace will remain. For many of us, money is the loudest background worry of all. It hums beneath almost every decision. The dread of opening the bank app, the fear of one surprise bill undoing everything, the anxiety of not having enough, whether for this month's rent or for retirement decades away. Financial worry feels so heavy because it strikes at survival. It triggers the deepest instinct. Am I safe? But often the monster grows because we avoid looking at it. We refuse to check numbers, hoping ignorance will spare us. But the unknown multiplies the fear. The path to peace is clarity. Not always earning more, but seeing clearly where you stand. Worry thrives in the vague. It withers in the light of specifics. Step one is always this: face the numbers. Set aside one quiet hour. Collect every bill, statement, and receipt. Add them up. Write down your income, your expenses, your debt. The unknown becomes known. For many, that moment is the turning point. The monster suddenly has a size and shape. Now it can be managed. Step two is to give your money a plan. Not a harsh budget of deprivation, but a spending map, a permission slip. Every dollar receives an assignment: needs, wants, savings. When entertainment has $100 set aside, you can enjoy that dinner guilt-free because your rent and savings are already covered. Anxiety comes from uncertainty. Planning replaces it with confidence. Step three, build a buffer. Most financial anxiety comes from the unexpected. The car repair, the doctor bill, the broken appliance. These are not if, they are when. An emergency fund is your shield. Start small, $500, then $1,000. Then 1 month of expenses, eventually 3 months, then 6. Even the first small cushion changes how you breathe. A sudden bill becomes an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. Step 4, separate your self-worth from your net worth. Debt does not define you. Salary does not equal value. Mistakes with money are not moral failings. They are data points. Approach money like a scientist, not a judge. Study it, adjust it, improve it. Shame paralyzes. Curiosity empowers. Marcus, 28, a software developer in Atlanta, looked successful on the outside. Inside, money anxiety gnawed at him every day. He carried $30,000 in student loans. He swiped his credit card for dinners and gadgets, chasing the lifestyle of his peers. He refused to log into his banking app. He shoved unopened statements into a drawer. The voice in his head said, "I should be further ahead. I'm wasting my money. If I lose my job, I'll be ruined." Shame sealed his lips. He didn't even tell his girlfriend. The silence made the fear heavier. One Saturday morning, hungover from another expensive night, he broke. He brewed coffee, opened the drawer, and spread every statement on the table. For 2 hours he added it all up. He made a spreadsheet. The number was ugly, but strangely his chest felt lighter. The unknown was now known. The monster had a shape. He linked his accounts to a budgeting app. For a month he just observed. He saw the leaks, delivery apps, forgotten subscriptions, impulse buys. The data spoke without judgment. Then he made a plan. A set monthly payment to his loans, a small transfer to an emergency fund, both automated. The money moved the moment he was paid. He gave himself cash for fun money each week. Once it was gone, spending stopped. For the first time, he could enjoy without guilt. His girlfriend noticed the change. He finally confessed the truth about his debt and his plan. Instead of judgment, she gave support. She admired his honesty and his effort. The debt didn't vanish overnight, but the fear did. He was no longer avoiding, he was steering. He felt in control of his money and his life. Your financial peace begins the moment you stop avoiding. Schedule what I call a money date. 1 hour this week. Gather every statement, add it up. Face the numbers. There is no judgment, only information. Then create a simple plan. Use a budgeting app or even a spreadsheet. The 50-30-20 rule works well. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings or debt repayment. Adjust as your life requires. Automate everything you can. Savings that move automatically are far more reliable than willpower. Treat those transfers as non-negotiable bills you pay to yourself. Start your emergency fund today, even with $20. Each small deposit is proof to yourself, I am building safety. That sense of security lowers anxiety long before the fund is fully built. You are not your debt. You are not your salary. You are the CEO of your own financial life, and CEOs don't panic. They plan. Yet even with money under control, many still feel the pull of worry. Why? Because life without meaning always tilts toward anxiety. When we lose sight of purpose, small problems swell to fill the void. Worry is self-focused. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I lose? The antidote is to expand outward, to gratitude, to meaning, to service. Start with gratitude. Anxiety focuses on what is lacking. Gratitude focuses on what is present. You cannot feel intense gratitude and intense fear at the same time. Make gratitude daily. Not vague, but specific. Not my family, but the way my daughter laughed at breakfast. Not my home, but the smell of coffee in my kitchen this morning. Next, pursue meaning. Ask yourself, what gets me out of bed beyond obligation? For some, it is creative work. For others, raising children, serving community, learning, or creating beauty. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. When you live with purpose, worries shrink into background noise because you are too absorbed in what matters. Finally, practice service. Do something for someone else with no expectation of return. Volunteer at a shelter. Help a neighbor, mentor a colleague. Even small acts, a thank you note, a kind text, shift your brain chemistry. Service creates perspective. Your problems look smaller when you see others' burdens, and it builds confidence. You are not powerless, you are a force for good. Eleanor, a retired school teacher in Vermont, felt her world shrink after her husband's death. Her children lived far away. Her days were filled with quiet worry about health, money, and loneliness. She felt irrelevant. Her daughter signed her up to volunteer at the library. Eleanor went reluctantly. She sorted dusty books with strangers, but something sparked. Surrounded by stories, she began to share her own. She read aloud to preschoolers, using her old teacher voice. She saw their faces light up. A gratitude journal followed. Each night she wrote, the taste of a peach, the sound of rain, a thank you card. Her focus shifted from loss to abundance. Then she began baking bread for a struggling young mother in her building. Each week she left a loaf at the door with a simple note, thinking of you. She expected nothing, but the act itself filled her with joy. Eleanor's circumstances hadn't changed, but her story had. Worry no longer starred in her life. Gratitude, meaning, and service had stolen the spotlight. She was needed again, and in giving she found herself. The pursuit of a worry-free mind does not end with thoughts or habits. It culminates in building a life so full of meaning that worry has no room to grow. Gratitude, purpose, and service form the foundation of resilience. To help you begin, here is a simple 7-day plan. Not perfection, progress. Each day one practice. Day 1, focus on control. Morning, before touching your phone, breathe and set this intention. Today I will focus on what I can control. Midday, when worry arises, ask, is this mine? If yes, act. If not, release. Evening, draw 2 circles. Write today's controllable actions in the small one and everything else in the large one. Reflection. Notice the relief of releasing what was never yours to carry. Day 2, contain time. Morning, write your 3 most important tasks for today only. Midday, when the mind jumps to the future, remind yourself that belongs to another day. Evening, review your tasks. Move unfinished ones to a specific future date. Reflection. Feel how containing focus to one day quiets overwhelm. Day 3, decide faster. Morning, choose one decision you've been postponing. Midday, use the 70% rule. If you have enough information, decide now. Evening, for small choices, practice the 60-second rule. Reflection, notice how decisive action frees mental energy. Day 4, calm the body. Morning, practice 3 minutes of belly breathing. 4 in, hold 4, 6 out. Midday, set alarms to stretch or move every hour. Evening, when worry rises, ground yourself with 5 things you see, 4 feel, 3 hear, 2 smell, 1 taste. Reflection, see how physical calm reshapes the mind. Day 5, reframe thoughts. Morning, identify 1 recurring negative thought. Midday, write a thought record. List the evidence for and against. Evening, speak aloud your new balanced thought. Reflection, observe how the story changes when facts replace fear. Day 6, build boundaries. Morning, choose 1 area where you need a limit. Midday, script your boundary. Speak it kindly and firmly. Evening, turn off notifications for 2 hours. Protect your time. Reflection, notice how peace grows when you guard your energy. Day 7, gratitude, meaning, service. Morning, list 3 things you are grateful for. Midday, perform 1 small act of kindness, expecting nothing back. Evening, reflect on which activity made you feel most alive. Schedule more of it. Reflection, experience how connection replaces fear with strength. This plan is not a finish line. It is a foundation. Repeat it, adjust it, let it shape your habits. And now, as our time closes, remember, the goal is not to erase worry forever. That is impossible. The goal is to change your relationship with it. Worry is no longer your master. It becomes a signal, not a sentence. You hold the tools, circles of control, day-tight compartments, decisive choices, body calm, reframed thoughts, firm boundaries, financial clarity, gratitude, meaning, and service. Some days you will use them easily. Other days, old habits will return. That is normal. The work is to notice sooner and to respond faster. Each time you do, you carve a new pathway in your brain. You grow stronger. You are building resilience. You are not broken. You are not weak for worrying. You are human, living in a noisy, demanding world. But now within you there is a quiet center, a calm eye in the storm. Find it in your breath, in your small circle of control, in the facts, not the fears, in the boundaries you draw, in the service you give. Take this knowledge and live it. Be gentle with yourself. Celebrate small victories, the breath you took, the boundary you set, the decision you made. These are the bricks of a worry-free life. You have everything you need. The power was inside you all along. Now go. Live not without challenge, but with peace to face any challenge. This is the beginning of your worry-free mind. You've walked through the principles. You've seen how control, time, decisions, body, reframing, boundaries, money, gratitude, meaning, and service reshape worry. Now let's weave them into reminders you can carry forward. Remember, worry is wasted energy unless it leads to action. Action inside your circle is powerful. Action outside your circle is futility. Each morning, remind yourself, today I will focus only on what is mine. I will act where I have power. I will release what belongs to the storm. Train yourself to separate planning from worrying. Planning happens once with clarity. Worry happens endlessly with no progress. Choose planning. Discard worry. Notice hesitation. If you feel stuck in indecision, apply the 70% rule. If you have enough information, decide. Then commit your energy to making the choice work. When panic rises, return to the body. Breathe deep. In for 4, hold, out for 6. Stretch, move, ground yourself in your senses. A calm body leads a noisy mind back to peace. Challenge your inner critic. Write the thought. Gather the evidence. Rewrite the story. Trade fear for facts. Protect your peace with boundaries. Say no when you must. Say yes with intention. Guard your time from the endless pool of devices. Your energy is your property. Respect it. Face your finances with courage. Numbers may sting, but they do not bite. Once seen, they can be tamed. Build buffers. Automate savings. Make money your tool, not your torment. Finally, expand beyond yourself. Practice gratitude. Live with purpose. Serve others. When your life feels bigger, worry feels smaller. You may ask, what does this look like in the rhythm of real life? It looks like Maria, drawing circles of control. It looks like Jake, writing tasks one day at a time. It looks like Chloe, ordering the kiln and freeing herself from indecision. It looks like David, breathing through panic in the DMV. It looks like Anya, reframing fear into facts. It looks like Sarah, setting boundaries to protect her son. It looks like Marcus, facing his debt with clarity. It looks like Eleanor, baking bread and reading stories to children. These people are not superheroes. They are human, just like you, and their victories show you the way forward. Imagine yourself 1 month from now. Worry still visits, but you meet it differently. You breathe, you act, you release, you sleep more easily, you laugh more freely. You carry yourself with quiet strength. Imagine 6 months from now. You wake with purpose. You know what is yours to carry. You know what belongs to the storm. Your finances are clearer. Your relationships healthier. Your heart lighter. Imagine a year from now. You no longer call yourself an anxious person. You call yourself resilient. You call yourself free. This journey does not erase challenge, but it equips you to meet every challenge with calm strength. That is the gift of the worry-free mind. Sometimes reminders need to be short. A few words you can repeat in your mind when worry knocks. Here are some mantras. Choose the one that speaks to you. Quiet the anxiety. Train your brain for peace. Stop worrying. Start living. This is your modern guide to calm. Rewire the anxious mind. Replace fear with focus. 8 principles to end overthinking and to reclaim your life. Break the spiral. Turn panic into progress. Life-changing strategies to finally stop worrying. Tools you can use every single day. The anti-worry protocol. Reclaim your time, your mind, your energy. Worry less, live more. Because peace of mind is strength of spirit. Each of these phrases is more than a title. It is a doorway into the state you want to live in. Speak them aloud. Write them where you will see them daily. The right words act like anchors, pulling you back to calm when storms rise. Let me paint the picture. You wake up tomorrow morning. Instead of reaching for your phone, you breathe. You remind yourself, I will focus only on what I can control. At lunch, a worry rises about a meeting next week. You whisper, that belongs to Thursday. Today I live today. In the evening, you feel stuck between choices. You remind yourself 70% is enough. I decide now. Later, lying in bed, the old critic stirs. You take out your journal. You write the thought, weigh the evidence, and rewrite the story. You drift to sleep with a lighter heart. That is how these practices work. Quietly, steadily, one choice at a time. But remember, worry is clever. It will disguise itself as responsibility. It will pretend endless rumination equals care. Do not be fooled. Real care is action. Real strength is letting go. Real courage is living present, not lost in what if. Some listening now may think, it sounds simple, but my worry feels bigger than me. That is exactly why these tools matter. The bigger the storm, the more you need anchors. And now you have them. Let your mantra be your shield. Quiet the anxiety. Worry less. Live more. The anti-worry protocol. Rewire your anxious brain. Repeat them until they become instinct. When fear rises, your own voice will guide you back to calm. These words, these practices are not theories. They are lived experience. They have carried nurses, graduates, business owners, veterans, teachers, single parents, professionals, retirees. They will carry you too. You have walked a long journey with me. From control to time, from decisions to the body, from reframing thoughts to setting boundaries, from finances to gratitude and service. You now hold a complete toolkit for a calmer life. But tools only work when used. Knowledge becomes transformation only when practiced. So commit today, not tomorrow. Start small. Take one principle and live it today. Ask yourself, is this mine to control? Breathe deeply when panic stirs. Reframe one negative thought tonight. You don't need to master everything at once. Each practice is a seed. Water them daily. Over time, they grow into resilience. Remember, setbacks are not failures. Old habits will return. But each time you catch yourself sooner, each time you recover faster, you are winning. Strength is not the absence of weakness. Strength is returning to the path again and again. Picture yourself 6 months from now. You live lighter. Worry visits, but it does not linger. You notice it, use your tools, and move on. Picture yourself 1 year from now. You no longer call yourself an anxious person. You call yourself resilient, grounded, strong. And one day someone will ask you, how do you stay so calm when life is hard? And you will smile because you know the secret. The storm still rages, but you have built your quiet center. You have learned to live with a worry-free mind. Let me leave you with 3 final truths. First, you are not broken. Worry does not mean weakness. It means you are human in a noisy world. Second, action is always stronger than anxiety. Move where you have power. Release where you do not. Third, a life of gratitude, meaning, and service leaves little space for fear. When you live for something bigger than yourself, worry fades to background noise. Carry these truths with you. Write them down. Speak them aloud. Live them daily. You now have everything you need. The power was in you all along. You just needed a map to find it. This is your invitation. Begin today. Quiet the anxiety. Worry less. Live more. This is the beginning of your new chapter, your worry-free life.